In this video, we will be solving inequalities in one variable. Solving inequalities is much like solving equations, only there's a couple of variations throughout the way. The most important to remember is this. If we have something like negative x is less than 1, remember that anytime we multiply it or divide by a negative number, we switch the sign, the direction of the sign. So if we were going to get this x, negative x to just be x, we'd have to multiply by negative 1 on both sides, which when we did that would tell us x is greater than negative 1. So remember that this this inequality sign switches directions. So let's do the first one. We're asked to solve 6x minus 7 is less than or equal to 2x minus 3, and then plot this solution on a number line. So the first thing you're going to want to do is solve for the variable x, much like we solve for the equation form of this, and then plot it. So if we're going to do that, if we pretend that this inequality is just an equal sign, we can do a couple of things. First, let's rewrite this so we have it. Now we need to get all of the x's to one side of the inequality sign and all of the constants to the other side of the inequality sign. And we can do that by subtracting 2x from both sides. This will give us 6x minus 2x minus 7 is less than or equal to 2x minus 2x minus 3. If we do this simplification, we get 4x minus 7 is less than or equal to 0 minus 3, which is simply 4x minus 7 less than or equal to negative 3. We now need to get this negative 7 to the other side of the inequality sign, which we can do by adding a 7 to both sides. This gives us 4x plus, and then negative 7 plus 7 less than or equal to negative 3 plus 7. With simplification, this gives us 4x plus 0 less than or equal to 4, which is just 4x less than or equal to 4. And now we need to finally get the x to be all by itself. Right now we have 4 x's on the left-hand side, and we just need 1. And we can get rid of this 4 by either dividing by the number itself or multiplying by the reciprocal, which is the same thing. So we can multiply by 1 over 4, which is the same thing as dividing by 4. And remember, whatever you do to the left-hand side, you must do to the right. So we do that, and we get 1x less than or equal to 4 over 4. And if we take this up here, we get 1x less than or equal to 1 less x less than or equal to 1 as our final answer. Now we need to plot this, and we can do that quickly by just drawing our number line, which is going to be a horizontal line stretching from positive infinity to negative infinity. Let's draw a 0 right in the middle. And then we can count an even number of spaces. 1, 2, 3, and we'll go 3 to the negative 2. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Don't forget to label your axes. Otherwise this won't make any sense. And now we need to plot this. We see that x is supposed to be less than or equal to 1. If we find where 1 is on the number line, we see it is right here. Since this is less than or equal to, this bubble is going to be shaded. If it was just less than, it would not be shaded. And now we need to figure out less than or equal to 1. And less than 1 is everywhere to the negative infinity, so we're going to draw a larger arrow stretching and telling us that we're going to negative infinity. You can shade that in if you want, it doesn't really matter. Next, we're asked to solve negative 3x less than or equal to 9, and then again plot it on the number line. First thing I always do is rewrite the equation, and we just do that because it helps us make sure that we fully understand and notice every aspect of the equation so we don't miss anything. So we have negative 3x less than or equal to 9. Remembering what we talked about at the beginning, we need to get the x by itself and everything else on the other side of the inequality sign. We have a negative 3 times x, so we can multiply everything by the reciprocal, which is going to be negative 1 over 3. Do it on both sides. And we get positive 1x, and then some sign 9 over negative 3. Now remember, Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, the direction of the sign switches, so we go from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. Now we just do some simplification, giving us 1x greater than or equal to negative 3, which is simply x greater than or equal to negative 3. Plotting it on the number line, we again draw our horizontal line stretching from negative infinity to positive infinity, sticking 0 in the middle. Drawing our spacing, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. X is greater than or equal to negative 3, so we find negative 3 as right here. Since it's or equal to, we can shade this in. And x is greater than or equal to negative 3, so it's stretching to positive infinity. And that's how we do these kind of equations, or inequalities.